All right. This text is called Native Americans in the Revolution, and it's all about the role that Native Americans played. You might not have realized that they played a part in the American Revolution. Make sure as you read, you are writing your thoughts in the margins. Notice at the end, it reminds you, make sure you wrote at least 3 thoughts. It can be a connection. It can be, I didn't know this before. Maybe you've heard of some of these tribes before, so you have some sort of connection to that. Maybe you wonder, what does this mean? What does this word mean? What does this concept mean? How would you feel if you were them? Do you agree? Do you disagree? So many different things that you can write just to make sure you're really activating your thinking. Overall, this first paragraph introduces what it's going to be about. It's talking about how the role that different tribes played varied from group to group, because Native Americans aren't just one group of people. There are a lot of different tribes of people. This paragraph talks about how some sided with the Patriots and some sided with the British. And then it even talks about how some didn't really pick a side as clearly, at least not at first. And then it talks about after the revolution, what was sort of some of the results of what had happened. And do make sure you take a look at the timeline to see some of the important things that happened as well. And then it asks you, what is the main idea? And either write 2 details, or I'm fine if you underline 2 details that support the main idea you picked. Okay, keep in mind details don't have to be word for word quotes. It can just be something from the text that supports what it is mostly about. And remember, the main idea is not just going to be Native Americans in the Revolution. That's a concept. That's a topic that it's about. What is the author telling us about Native Americans in the Revolution? Native Americans played different roles in the American Revolution. Native Americans sided with both sides during the American Revolution. What Native Americans did varied based on the tribe during the American Revolution. Those are some ideas for you that might help get you started in thinking how you could word it. And then if I'm saying Native Americans pick different sides, a detail, 2 details could be the Haudenosaunee sided with the Patriots, the Mohawk sided with the British. Those are 2 details that supports the idea that the Native Americans picked different sides. Or if my main idea is Native Americans were really affected by the American Revolution. One detail could be that after the war, Great Britain gave all of its land to the United States, which included Native Americans' land. Okay, so then the land that the Native Americans had was suddenly turned over to the United States instead of being part of Britain, and the United States handled it differently than Britain had handled it. Okay, so there's different sort of main things that it's about, not like a million different options, but there's a couple of different ways to say it. So then write it, what you think makes sense, and then pick a couple details to support it. And if you need help coming up with it, I am more than happy to do that. Again, I don't want to just see Native Americans as the main idea. That's the topic, but not the main idea. Okay? Good luck.